So the first part of our tour of the organ starts right out here with what you see on a Sunday morning, the organ console, and what the organist has at his or her disposal to produce the sound that you hear during the worship services. So this is the organ console of our Austin organ. And just a little bit of quick history. There's a lot of organs that preceded this one here at Center Church in this very meeting house. The first organ was installed in 1835 by the Thomas Appleton Organ Company of Boston. And that beautiful case that we have here was built at that time of mahogany wood in 1835 and has been retained the entire time. So that organ in 1835 was probably just 2 keyboards and a pedal division and a very basic organ, and the congregation outgrew it in a few years. By the late 1800s, another organ was installed, this time by the Roosevelt Organ Company of New York City. That was a larger organ at that time and fulfilled the needs of the church. And by the early 1900s, Center Church called upon the Austin Organ Company right here in Hartford to install and produce a grand organ for this building. So in 1907, Austin installed the organ, which was 3 manuals, and it was a real showpiece for their company and for the city. Later on in the century, in 1954, the organ was completely reworked by the Austin Organ Company again, and what we see today is the 1954 organ, this actual console that was installed. The organ at that time had 3,000 pipes or so, 4 manuals as you can see, and the organ was actually, and there's a little insignia here, this organ was given in loving memory of the parents Henry and Carrie Smith Roberts by John Taylor Roberts in 1954. That was quite a gift. And so this organ was installed and was used. And then in 1969, there was a major renovation and rebuild. And then another one later on in a little after the year 2000, where there was a MIDI division put in and some other special electronics. So here you are, here's the organ that we have at our disposal. This organ actually has 5 organs or 5 divisions within it. And you can kind of think of them by the different keyboards that we have. We have 5 keyboards, also known as manuals. The bottom keyboard is called the choir manual. Many times it's the manual that you might accompany the choir on, who's right in front of you. And the pipes for the choir division are right in back of where the basses and tenors sit. So they're right there, right in back of them. The next manual is the great manual, and it's very appropriately titled because this is the manual that organists generally play most of the service music on, hymns, and even a lot of the organ music that is done. It's mostly played on the great manual. So the great manual gets the biggest work out of them all. And so it has the biggest sound when you bring everything together on it. Manual up is the swell division, and it's more of an expressive division. We have some strings on this division. We also have some very nice melody stops. And that's the swell division. And then finally at the very top keyboard, it is the positive division. It's more of a Baroque division. Stops that would be helpful to play a lot of Baroque music, Bach, Buxtehude, Handel. And so you can hear some of the... And last but not least is the pedal division. The pedal division is played obviously with the feet and has lots of stops and sounds. And so if you put it all together, you have one grand organ with 5 different divisions. On a quick note, just a few other interesting things. Down here, it's not a race car, but down if you can see there's some expression pedals, and so I can clearly, with my swell division, with that expressive division, I can make things very quiet or make them a little louder. And I can do that also with the choir division. And also, there are, besides the white stop knobs, stop tabs I should call them, which are accounting for a rank or a set of sounds. Each white tab is a rank or a set of sounds in the organ. The black stop tabs are what brings a sound from one keyboard to another keyboard. So you're able to kind of borrow sounds from one keyboard and put them on another keyboard. And then finally, there's a lot of buttons on the organ. These are called pistons, and these are what the organist uses to preset different sounds that they would like to have. Come in handy when you're playing organ pieces and you need to make quick changes of stops or quick changes of sounds, or between verses of a hymn. So that's a very, very quick tour through the organ console, a tour of the organ that you see on Sunday mornings before we venture inside of the organ to see what's inside and waiting for us. Thank you.